Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Legacy Tour Huntsville, hosted by MTG Training Grounds. I am Zachary Cuck, your host, and I am joined today by Lane Fox, my co-host.
Hello, how's everyone doing?
All right, we are here for Game 1. Evan Nyquist is on the left playing 12 post, and Wes Stewart on the right is playing Mud.
Two big mana decks.
Yeah. Any thoughts, Lane? I don't know what to make of this one.
Yeah, it seems like it's going to be a long match. It'll be interesting to kind of see how this plays out because usually both of these decks sort of meta against everyone else. So
yeah, I suspect there should be a fair amount of large spells being cast and big things happening.
yeah, some really interesting chalices if they even get played at all. Something tells me Chalice isn't on one in this match anywhere.
No, that seems like it might be one of the weaker cards.
Oh yeah.
Because how can you pick? Well, actually, I guess 12 Post does have a fair amount of 1-mana spells, sort of as setup. It's got Candelabra,
That's true.
Ancient Stirrings that Evan just cast. I think it also runs the map, the one that they play in Tron and Modern Expedition map. So when it looks like he's got a Brainstorm in hand, so there's I guess Chalice on one isn't terrible.
That's true.
But
yeah, a bunch of big mana decks. Let's kind of see what's going on. I'm trying to see Evan's hand here, and
I think there's a Show and Tell in there as well. I know the 12 post decks, especially the blue green ones, a lot of times run Show and Tell to either put out an Eldrazi, one of the big Eldrazi like Emrakul, or sometimes they play Primeval Titan.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think in my opinion here, I kind of like Evan's list just because it just looks like he can play around a whole lot of the mana restrictions that Wes is going to put up, and it just seems like it's able to do bigger stuff quicker. When it looks like Mud wants to establish its presence before it does, well, what it does. So
now here we have a Grim Monolith, so Wes will have access to at least 7 mana, and presumably he'll have another land drop, so probably more than that next turn. So we guess we could start seeing things like Sundering Titan or something as early as turn 3 here.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I will say Wes has got a really strong start. I mean, having two of the God, what are those called? I haven't seen them.
Cloud Post?
Yeah, Cloud Post. What is the other Lotus?
Glimmer Post is the
Glimmer
other one.
Post. Okay, yeah.
And I do believe both of these decks. Well, Mud doesn't always run the post package, but when it does, I think it runs all the full set of 8. So it looks like Wes is on the post Mud as opposed to just the more. There's like a more traditional version that just has like Wastelands and Ancient Tombs and City of Treasures, and Wes may in fact have some of those, or those cards in some degree also.
Yeah, and especially if Wes can get down Lodestone Golem, it can really slow down Evan too.
Sure, because a lot of his spells aren't artifacts, whereas pretty much everything of Wes's is.
Yeah, so right now I'd say the start looks a lot better for Wes right now.
It's like Evan is debating.
He's thinking hard.
What land he wants to play?
Yeah.
I can't tell. He did not play a spell yet, right? He just hasn't untapped his land. Because I think his opening turn was an Ancient Stirrings and a fetch land, so that would be the 2 cards in the graveyard. There's a bit of glare on the table. Oh, so he's casting a Brainstorm now. Okay, he's just leaving the land tap, knowing it was coming. Is that a Cyclonic Rift? I think that's what that is. Imagine with the big mana this deck can produce, that's a pretty powerful card.
Actually, it can be real explosive against Wes. Just send everything back, and I mean, like I said, Mud takes a while to kind of establish itself, and if you take that apart, it's got to rebuild everything all over again. But I mean, and so much of what it does use to create mana are artifacts and not just the land. So
right, so it would balance everything.
Yeah,
it's like he has Pithing Needle in hand. Can't tell if it looks like Evan had a Pithing Needle.
Yeah,
it's kind of uncommon to see a deck main boarding Pithing Needles.
Yeah. I wonder what he came expecting today.
Do not know. I don't actually know a ton about the 12 post deck. I've only played against it once or twice, and I was on Jund, so I got destroyed both times.
Well, I feel like I guess you've always got targets for Pithing Needle. Maybe that's
there are an excessive number of activated abilities in Legacy. Yeah. That part is for sure.
Yeah, I almost can't think of a deck that doesn't have targets for it. So,
or Burn.
That is true.
Maybe Merfolk. No, even Aether Vial is something you can name.
Yeah.
But you're right. I mean.
Yeah, I guess just Burn.
Yeah, most decks. I mean, if nothing else, like
You brainstorm
it's
it.
not the ideal use for
Yeah.
them, but you can always name the fetch lands.
That's true.
And there's a turn 3 Wormcoil Engine.
Seems
so,
good.
So that's a thing. And I assume that the Cavern of Souls is naming Worm. So to make it, because I imagine at this point, Wes isn't entirely sure what he's playing against. Although seeing a cloud post off of the Ancient Stirrings is probably a pretty good indicator.
He's thinking hard.
This looks like either an end of turn fetch land or a upkeep. In any event, looks like he's picking up a basic forest.
I think he's scared of
Wasteland.
Wasteland, maybe.
Well, the mud decks usually play them in some number, although he's already vulnerable to it between his duels and his cloud post in hand.
Yeah. Which would be actually devastating for him at this point because he's already behind on mana.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, he's down a ton. Now he does have a show and tell in his hand, which if he has an Eldrazi or something that can take over the game,
that would be huge. Yeah.
It does not look like that is the case though. Just a bunch of glimmer posts.
Yeah. Now having not played a lot of 12 post, I wouldn't even really know what Evan's on at this point. I'm seeing a lot of see him digging for a lot of stuff. Well, now I probably have a better idea.
Yeah, so that should gain Evan one life.
Yeah. Let's see. Maybe he'll just take that. Oh, sorry.
Actually, I think it should be 3 life. Because I believe Cloud Post and what's the other one? Glimmer Void or Glimmer Post, they count the number of those things on the battlefield, not just the number that you control.
Oh, yes, that's correct.
So Evan would gain 3 life from that. Although this also ramps up the amount of mana Wes can produce because each of those posts now taps for 3.
Wow, so this matchup is even more interesting than I thought.
Yeah, this is a bizarre one.
You can tell I don't play a lot of post.
So we've got a Pithing Needle coming down. I assume this is going to name Grim Monolith.
Yeah, I would imagine so.
You can't stop the mana ability from Grim Monolith, but it can stop the activated ability to untap it.
Yes. So.
Although that is pretty paltry in the face of a Wormcoil Engine.
So you can't stop the mana ability. You think he goes ahead and untap? Well, how much does it cost to untap? Is it 4?
4.
Okay, so that's not happening.
Yeah, I don't think Wes had enough spare mana to untap it.
But still coming over for 6 damage seems good.
Yeah, no argument there. Yeah, so Evan falls to 15, and Wes is up to 26. And there's a Wasteland.
Oh.
That's a good place to start if you're Stewart. I think I would go ahead and use it right now, out of respect for any possible cards Evan might have that that cost 4 mana. A lot of the big plays happen then. So
yeah, so you've lost a little bit of your mana advantage because you've lost your monolith. You want to go ahead and stay ahead, and so
it looks though to me at least that if Wes has 8 mana available and has no play, that he probably just had nothing. Period.
That's true.
And like I said, I think I would have gone for the Wasteland. We have a backup needle.
Naming Wasteland, I'm sure.
Well, it will if Wes doesn't respond. I think Wes will maybe take this opportunity to use his Wasteland.
Yeah, well, it's on the stack. But I don't know. He's got another post down now too. Maybe the window for that is kind of past.
Well, he can take out Evan's post, or he can take out one of the colored sources. Oh, and Evan's ready for it. He anticipated that coming with a crop rotation. Probably, if I had to guess, finding himself yet another cloud post.
I guess.
He needs to get an amount of mana himself that can get him to his bigger spells before the Wormcoil just finishes the game off.
Oh wow!
I saw in Ulamog the Ceaseless Hunger, the new one in his library.
Oh, nice.
So I guess that's one of the targets to ramp to. A lot of times 12 post decks will run a Singleton Kozilek, the original, whatever it was called. The one that draws 4 cards.
Yes.
And
Butcher of Truth.
Butcher of Truth, yes. And Emrakul, the Aeon's Torn.
Well, something tells me that once we see this pithing needle resolve, it's probably going to change modes and turn into a metal worker.
Well, actually, you can name Metalworker, but in this case, it doesn't stop it because
Oh,
that's
because
that's a mana ability,
That's
right?
a good point. Hmm.
Evan chooses to get another. Okay, so he got a fetch land and then turned that into another. So he's basically just thinning his deck out by using the crop rotation and,
Yeah.
and saving his land.
Yes. So,
I guess he thinks the best opportunity here is to thin his deck and hope to draw into some gas.
so who? I'm trying to think of the. Is it who's the Foundry artifact that you sacrifice the 3 artifacts, search for another artifact, and put in?
Kuldotha Forge
Yeah.
Master.
So maybe you name Forge Master.
Oh, so it looks like Grim Monolith was not the name
Oh wow!
on the first Pithing Needle because Wes was able to untap it there.
And because of the bright lights.
Yeah, I mean, we're not able
We
to
still don't
read
know.
what Evan wrote on those Pithing Needles. He may still go for Wasteland here just because he has no chance of getting back into this game if Wes has a second one.
Still pretty strong though. I mean, he's
The Worm Coil comes in again. Evan falls to 8, and Wes is all the way up to 32. So I think Evan has
one turn.
maybe one, maybe two turns if Wes has no other pressure here. Although
Yeah.
now Wes has access to what, 15 mana or so.
Yes. Well, I'm hoping that Wes has a play at this point. Otherwise, he's in a really bad spot.
So there's 5, 6 mana. That's a Steel Hellkite.
Ooh.
See, the nice thing about these big 12 post and mud decks is they get to play all the fun creatures and fun cards that you never see anywhere else.
Yeah, I know. It's
'Cause
like
where else do you cast a Steel Hellkite?
Commander.
Good call. Yes, Commander games that maybe I don't get to play much of that anymore, and it may be a popular one there, but
Yeah, but yeah, absolutely. All that stuff that you open up and you're like, when am I gonna have enough mana to cast this?
I mean it's good in draft, but
That's true.
that was years
That
ago
was
at this
great in
point.
draft. Oh yeah, and they didn't reprint it anywhere else. I think it was in Scars. Is that when they put in Scars of Mirrodin?
Scars of Mirrodin, I believe you're correct. So
Yeah.
Evan falls to 7, still out of lethal range of the Worm Coil engine, and we know he has the Cyclonic Rift in hand, so he can survive at least one more turn. And 1, 2, 3, 4,
How much would a post put him up at this point?
6, 7, 8. He has access to 9 mana, so he can actually do the kicked or whatever it's called, overloaded version
Oh, that's true.
of
And
the
he's
spell.
I think that's what he's gonna name as he tries to come across this turn.
I feel like even that's not going to do him a whole lot of good though, because Wes has he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 15, 16, 17, 18. He has 19 mana. Like he can recast both of these spells and his Grim Monolith. It is a fog. So Evan chooses to play the overloaded the overloaded Cyclonic Rift. Wes picks up all of his permanents. I think it may have been better for Evan to wait for Wes to pump the dragon there.
Well, he was. Oh, is he a 4/4?
The dragon is a 5/5, but to get it to the 7 power needed, he would have to activate the sort of the fire breathing mode
that's true.
twice.
Oh, that's a good
So-
point.
So there we have 6 mana and 10 more mana. Brings back the dragon, the worm coil, and with the spare, I assume the Grim Monolith is coming back. Yeah, this is just you see
Yeah, 'cause-
Cloud Post on display here.
Yeah, because why not? Just it's pretty much a fog. But hey, it's a fog that could put him on Emrakul.
Sure, yeah, and an Emrakul would in this case be enough to survive, right?
Because did we see a show and tell in his hand?
He has a show and tell. Actually, I take that back. I don't think an Emrakul does help you survive here. Wes is going to gain
Yeah, because
another
he can't hard cast it.
7 life. Evan draws a Glimmer Post, and that's the game. He packs it in. He's dead to the creatures on the table.
Mhm.
All right, we're gonna take a minute here to talk about JC's House of Cards. This is the sponsor of the Legacy Tour Huntsville. JC's is located in Madison, Alabama. JC Jeff, the owner of the store, has a huge selection of singles, especially a real healthy supply of Legacy singles. So it's a great place to pick up all the missing pieces for your Legacy deck, especially if you're going to come play in the Legacy Tour. They also carry all of the paraphernalia like sleeves and deck boxes and all that stuff. So check them out.
Yeah, Jeff's a great guy. I needed talismans of impulse, and he actually had those. I'm like, "Do you have these?" He's like, "Got 4." So
Oh,
set me up
he's got everything.
just random stuff. Yeah.
So let's check out some sideboards. We've got them here in front of us. You'll see them on the screen in front of you. What do you think, Lane? What do you want in this kind of matchup? I don't even know what you'd bring in.
Oh man, I actually have no idea either. So we're taking a look here.
Evan's got a Platinum Imperion, which I guess could keep you from dying.
Yeah, because I guess he doesn't really.
Wes doesn't have removal, right?
No, he doesn't. So that's actually a really good choice.
Flusterstorm seems terrible because that's not what the kind of deck or the kind of it doesn't affect the kind of spells. Actually, I don't think it affects anything Wes plays, so that's no good. But he's not a graveyard deck, so Jokabog's no good. Carpet of Flowers, Wes plays no islands, so that's no good. Krosan Grip has to be good, so I expect to see those two. Ugin the Spirit Dragon seems terrible since everything Wes plays is colorless.
Sphere and Trinisphere seems bad. Sphere Resistance and Trinisphere seem bad.
Sure,
yeah.
Just
play around it.
For the exact same reasons. Like it's what Wes tries to. You can't do what Wes does because that arguably his deck is even better at it. And maybe Pithing Needle. I don't know if there's targets. They share enough of the lands and stuff that maybe a Pithing Needle would help shut down Wes's game plan. Although it was obvious he had some number of the main deck and they didn't seem super useful. So who knows? Out of Wes's sideboard,
I really don't know. The bridge doesn't seem good. The bit.
Well, Ensnaring Bridge might be. Well, I take that back. It would be good if it wasn't for Ulamog the Ceaseless Hunger. I think with Ulamog, the bridge is only a minor stopgap.
Yeah, all this dust seems bad. Was that Orbs of Warding? I think.
That's not doing anything. Yeah. I think Orbs of Warding is more like against decks like Burn. We're having Hexproof and the damage prevention is more useful. Now the Sundering Titan I think is great because Evan has 2 land types and it's just it's probably a better creature than something Wes has.
Yeah.
And the Emrakul is probably good too because if your opponent is playing cards like Cloudpost, you can get to Emrakul that much faster. And it's probably just a better creature than some of the options, and you may even want to cut some things like Staff of Nin. Well, no, I guess Staff of Nin's part of like an infinite combo, but there's got to be something that
make yourself showing tell, not proof, but
it would help with that. That's a good call. It's a good point.
Go ahead. Randomly. Yeah.
We'll see what they do sideboard. We'll head back to the game here. It looks like both players have drawn their 7, and we'll see if they're keeping.
Yeah.
This is not a matchup I expect to see very often, so I am not intimately familiar with it, nor do I think I really need to be. But
I mean, at the same time, I like seeing this sort of stuff. I'm always the one that's just a strong proponent of just like, hey, let's play some fun stuff. And big mana decks are fun stuff. I like big effects and everything like that.
Yeah, you don't see. I mean, you see a little bit of it in Standard sometimes, and I guess Modern has the Tron deck, although it's a little anemic right now compared to the Eldrazi deck, which is sort of doing the same thing only faster. But Legacy, that's not a format where you see spells that cost more than 4 very often, unless they're being cheated into play, which isn't really fair.
Yeah. So it looks like Wes is gonna mulligan.
I didn't get a good look at his hand, but Wes has been playing Mud for quite a while now. I trust his judgment on when to throw him back.
Yeah.
And I assume with a deck like Mud, there are certain hands that are just completely unkeepable when you get stuck with like the hand that has a City of Traders as its only land, and you go into it knowing that you have basically no mana.
Oh yeah, it's like I can play out. It's strong whenever you have like, hey, I'm gonna go ahead and Chalice out on the first turn, and I don't mind, shutting them off. And this is certainly not where you are with that. I'm pretty sure the Chalices came out on his side.
Yeah, there shouldn't. I don't think either player should have Chalice of the Void at this point. Well, Evan's deck doesn't even run them, and
but Wes is off the Chalices. Probably brought in the Emrakul, like we had mentioned.
So Wes scries, and I think he kept. Can't see his library there under the life total bars there, but so Evan's going to start off with a Glimmer Post and go to 21, and I think he has a map in hand. I wonder if he'll choose to play it. Guess not. Seems like that would be an all right play here, unless you're worried about like a pithing needle or something. So Wes has a killer opening of Ancient Tomb into Grim Monolith into Metalworker. So things could get ridiculous really quick right now.
Yeah, so that's all you do. I mean, when you don't have a good hand, you just
mulligan into a better one.
6 and just play out a really explosive hand.
So theoretically, Wes could have. Well, let's see. He has 4 cards remaining, I think, plus the 2 from the Ancient Tomb. Yeah, he could easily have 12 mana next turn.
Yeah,
can do some pretty dumb things with 12 mana on turn 2. They have to be colorless things.
But he probably has a few colorless things.
Blightsteel Colossus would probably be a good one.
Yeah, that one's pretty solid. So
I don't know what Evan's plan for that is. Glacial Chasm. So here we see a Ancient Stirrings for Evan, revealing an Ancient Stirrings, a couple lands, and a Pithing Needle. Looks like we are going the post route. Cloud Post. He's already made his land drop this turn, so Cloud Post can't come online for at least 2 more turns, which is not exactly the place you want to be. And there's the map.
Yeah, I bet you Evan's like, why didn't I do like Back to Nature maybe on the green?
Boy, or have some Nature's Claim or something.
Yeah, or Nature's Claim. That's what I'm sorry. I'm thinking Natural State. Yeah, Nature's Claim, but yeah, well, you don't want. Want Nature's Claim.
The nightmare scenario, right? Where Mud untaps with an active Metalworker.
Yeah.
So Wes goes ahead and deploys probably the worst card for Evan, Wasteland.
Yeah, especially because he's not really choked on mana at this point, or we don't think. Well, it could be a bunch of, let's see, tapping for
Sundering Titan, Staff of Nin, Platinum Empyrean. So he did bring in the Empyrean, that was out of Evan's sideboard. So.
Oh yeah. So
anyway, Sundering Titan's coming in, which is absolutely terrible.
And tell you what, you can keep the
well, he now knows that Evan has the Glimmer Post, so I guess holding the Wasteland for that seems like the better choice.
Good call.
Or maybe Wes has even bigger plans. Who knows? Regardless, there is now a 7/10 trample. I don't think, or maybe not trample, but 7/10 creature on the table on turn 2.
Yep.
I don't see how Evan comes back from this one either. This game has really not broken his way, and Wes has had some really bonkers starts.
Yeah, and including revealing that. I know I saw the Platinum Imperium in the hand too. So you kind of know he's not just sitting on nothing either.
Right, there's going to be follow-up plays, potentially really terrible ones. Yeah, if Wes goes for the Empyrean, that would kill Evan the following turn, right?
Yes.
Yeah, 7 plus 7's 14, and what is Empyrean's an 8/8? Yeah,
8.
Yeah, 7, 7, and 8 is a great deal more than 20.
Yeah. Could even go aggro with the Metalworker.
Here comes
the
Titan, knocking Evan down to 13.
Yes.
Boy, this is. I've only had to play against Mud a few times, and fortunately their draws have been a little more stumbly than this. This is the kind of draw that would have crushed some of the decks I've played, as it is now crushing Evan.
Yeah.
Wes goes for the Staff of Nin as opposed to the Platinum Empyrean.
We probably would want to refill his hand a little bit and stuff too. I mean, kind of get the gas down, fix that mulligan. I mean, explosive hands also make for very empty hands. So
here comes Glimmer Post from Evan, which I suspect becomes a Wasteland target.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like he has a pair of Show and Tells in hand and some more lands. It's pretty bad.
And ping him for damage.
Oh, sure. The Staff and Nin taps to deal damage to target creature or player. So targets Evan. And also allows you to draw an extra card on your draw step, right? Or upkeep, one of the two.
I think it's upkeep.
Okay, so Wes is now out carding, out damaging, and out permanenting Evan. This is just the way it was drawn up, right?
Oh, yeah.
Turn 2, Sundering Titan. Turn 3, Staff of Nin, plus backup shenanigans.
I guess, at this point, I imagine we see the Platinum Empyrean come down.
Yeah, he wouldn't even have to at this point because Evan's going to die to just the Sundering
Oh
Titan if
yeah,
he doesn't
there's no
find a
need. It's the
blocker.
same clock. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like if I was Wes, I'd have gone for the Imperium just to finish the game. There is a Vesuva copying what I assume is probably the Glimmer Post. Could also be Glimmer, or I'm sorry, Cloud Post, not Glimmer Post.
Oh
But
yeah.
who knows? That's a Trinket Mage. That that may buy Evan as much as one turn. So there are now 1, 2, 3, 4. So he could gain 5 life off of that Glimmer Post, put him back to 10, which I guess he can survive a hit from the Sundering Titan then. And
What is Trinket Mage looking for?
Sensei's Top is my guess. That's probably the most
Yeah,
useful card right now. I suppose Candelabra of Tanos is... Well, actually, Candelabra is not very useful here because he has 2 Show and Tells in hand that he can't put anything out with, so what good would more mana do him?
Yeah.
Really needs to find... Yeah, needs to... I guess if he gets Candelabra, he could use the map to go find an Ayabugan, which then could maybe get Olamog. I just don't know if Evan can live that long. Like I said, he's at 10, staring down the Titan again, and this is all assuming. Well, actually, getting Ayabugan doesn't do any good either because Wasteland can take care of it. Wes has wisely held the Wasteland for an even more important target.
Yeah. Oh, and I hate posturing too. Whenever I'm not saying that he is, but like on something where I'm digging through my deck, I know that I really don't have anything too strong. I think you're right. It's probably the top that he's looking for.
Well, I mean, like I said, there is a little bit of consideration to be given to the, excuse me, to the Candelabra, just because it can generate such a huge amount of mana, so that he could try and do something like get an Ulamog, the Ceaseless Hunger, and cast it in subsequent turns or in the same turn. I don't know if he can quite generate that much, but otherwise, no, Sensei's Top is the only card he has, I think, that can really do enough for him. Yeah. There's 1 mana floating. It looks like it's spinning the top. We've got an Emrakul on top of the library.
No, that was great.
That's a good one to show and tell out.
Does he have blue though?
He has the Tropical Island. Is the only land I know of. Now, well, he's got a basic island in hand too. So yeah, show and tell can happen here. Just I don't know if I wonder if he can live long enough for that to matter. Evan could be if Wes has any sort of play that that gets him the last few points of damage.
You can draw the Emrakul, can't you, off the top?
Right, he doesn't have any blue mana available right now, though.
Oh yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, well, otherwise he could. I guess you can chump the Titan.
Right, because I don't think Sundering Titan has a
trample or anything.
So Wes is he's using the mana from Metalworker to untap a Grim Monolith on the end step. So he's going to draw his extra card from Staff of Nin. I don't know if Wes missed an activation of the Staff of Nin here. But he's got the Sundering Titan still, so Wes pays 1 mana. I'm a little confused. How does that 1 mana cast the... Oh no. I think Wes is announcing that he's casting the staff. Oh, so what happens here is that the whatever that's called, Staff of Dominance, that plus Metalworker generates infinite mana, which then can generate infinite card draws, and you can combo kill your opponent with some ridiculous combination of cards like the boots, Lightning Greaves, and Blightsteel Colossus, or Lightning Greaves, plus the Steel Hellkite is an infinite damage because it has fire breathing.
Oh, that's true.
So Evan sees the writing on the wall and packs it in. Wesley Stewart takes this match, 2-0, pretty handily.
Yeah, especially the Staff of Dominance coming in at the end. The Emrakul wouldn't have made a difference. So,
no, yeah, actually, in that case, Emrakul was pretty useless. Although without it, I suppose the Emrakul may have helped. But
yeah, there was hope.
Well, in any event, that was a pretty lopsided match. And stick around; we will be back for round 2.